Hello, Stephen White, Steve Arts 89. Another video on the Joker. Sadly, the Joker is still being attacked. Warner Brothers has had to come out and preemptively defend the film against the pre-backlash because it is being accused of glorifying a serial killer and glorifying gun violence and promoting gun violence, and sadly it's mostly brought up by the James Holmes massacre in Aurora, Colorado. After The Dark Knight was screened, which, by the way, the Joker wasn't even in, this guy who dyed his hair red, which, as we all know, the Joker has green hair, but people confuse that anyway, basically went on a killing spree in a cinema during or after a screening of The Dark Knight. He killed 12 people and injured 70, and now he's sort of the poster child for this sort of issue in relation to films, and it's certainly linked to Batman. And like I said, Joker wasn't even in that film, and he wasn't dressed up as Joker. And so far as his motivations, apparently he's gone through a fair amount of therapy and psychological study, and it was just cosplay. No one really knows what his motives were, but the look was a cosplay thing. It wasn't, and he wasn't pretending to be the Joker or enacting some Joker fantasy that was inspired by the movie or anything like that. So, and I really think they are out of line, and you're not allowed to say that because they're the families of murder victims, but that doesn't mean they can't be wrong and out of line and using their own tragedy for political gains, and sadly people do that. So they are weighing in, and they're trying to hurt this film and have it lose money, and blaming Warner Brothers and saying that they have deliberately made this film that's promoting violence. They're saying people are going to see this film and go and kill people, and Warner Brothers knows this and did this for profit or something. So it's a bit insane what they're implying. They haven't literally said that, of course, but they're asking the film, they're basically asking them to pull the film. They want them to pull the film, but they want at least for them to donate money towards pro-gun control movements and causes and groups and stuff like that. And supposedly they already support things like this, and they haven't backed down, but they did actually comment, and I guess I should read the comments. Make no mistake, neither the fictional character Joker nor the film is an endorsement of real-world violence of any kind. It is not the intention of the film, the filmmakers, or the studio to hold this character up as a hero. Gun violence in our society is a critical issue, and we extend our deepest sympathy to all the victims and families impacted by these tragedies. Now, that was the statement that Warner Brothers made. The fact that they had to make a statement about a film that hasn't been released, that nobody's seen, but people have an opinion of, and are already talking about and judging when it hasn't even come out. Based in part on racism against white people. The idea that it's one of those issues because it's kind of true. The majority of terrorism in America is homegrown terrorists, like white people basically, who don't get called terrorists. They get called mentally ill, and sadly a lot of the people who do commit these sort of crimes are mentally ill. So there's this duality of being totally right and totally wrong at the same time. So this media imaginary threat that every Muslim person is out to, destroy America, when it's usually people of the same race, other white people, that are actually killing white people. God, you can't. I mean, I don't even want to get into all of that. I mean, I've watched enough videos and watched enough news clips and read enough to kind of understand how it's working, but the Joker just isn't a part of that, and this film isn't a part of that. It's not promoting right-wing pro-gun NRA agenda. It's nothing to do with that. It's a characterization of what could at best be called an anti-hero. He's the protagonist of the film. He's not a hero. He's not held up. We may see how he ticks. We may explore how he became who he is, and maybe point some things at the people that caused him. But in no way will this film say, yeah, go out, buy a gun, blow a bunch of people away because, they made you do it. And the idea that any white person who goes and sees this film, that I'm going to go see this film as a white guy comic book fan, artist, who's not particularly happy with society, is going to just suddenly go out, buy a gun. I mean, couldn't do that in Australia, but in America, buy a gun and just go and shoot a bunch of people in the cinema or wherever because I saw this film and it told me to. That's the mentality of these people, that they think that's our mentality. So it's a bit tragic. And it's kind of shocking to think that even though this is a controversial R-rated film, it's based on comic book, but it's being treated like a real psychological study of a sociopath. It's been treated with respect. It's been treated with, in its making, the fact that it has to be defended already is kind of scary. But I know myself, I'm a pacifist, and I live in a country where we can't just walk down to the local Kmart and buy a gun and bullets and go shoot a bunch of people like people do every day in America. But yeah, I might sit there and cheer him on a little bit if he's taking out the people that put him in that position. I must admit, but that's part of what cinema is. It is an escape, and it is voyeuristic, where you can watch someone do something you would never do, or watch a situation you would never want to be in, but get to be in it without being in it, without there being any real world consequences, because you're not. It's a film. It's not real. He's not a real character. He's not really killing people, and no one's going to watch that film and then become the Joker and go kill people. I'm not going to do it. Other people aren't going to do it. And if you do, you already had psychological problems which should have been dealt with in the first place. The film didn't make you do it. The fact you've got psychological problems made you kill someone. The fact you bought a gun or had access to a gun didn't make you kill anyone. The gun didn't kill you, didn't kill anyone. The person with the psychological or racist or political issues did it. So, yes, getting rid of guns will make it a bit harder for these people to do stuff. It's not going to get rid of the problem. They can still pick up a knife and kill a few less people on a rampage. They can still get in a car and kill a bunch of people. So the situation is so much more complicated than a video game or a movie, and anyone trying to blame a film like The Joker for something like this is ridiculous. And I don't care that the families who've lost people, I understand that they feel passionately, they are grieving, they are traumatized, but it doesn't make them authorities on the subject. It doesn't make them automatically right. And the fact they use that to guilt people into silence and agreeing with them and going along with them makes me a little bit sick. I really don't like it when someone has a political or personal agenda and they just go out there and say, my child was killed, so therefore you should listen to me, and everyone just sits going back, ooh, can't say anything because their child was killed. Sorry, no, it doesn't make them right. I would say something, I would be demonized and be called an arsehole for it, but I would say something like, I'm saying this now and I don't care. I mean, no one watches it anyway. I've got no following anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I can say this and I'm not going to end up on The View tomorrow because I'm nobody. But I'd say the same thing if they were right in front of me. I'd try to be nice about it. But just because you have experienced a tragedy doesn't make you an authority, doesn't mean people should just agree with you and listen to you and should just bow down and be like, because we've all had experiences, and it just makes you not biased. And it makes you the least likely person who should be speaking about it. Like when someone talks about the death sentence because someone they know has been murdered, they're not objective. They shouldn't be making decisions about it. They shouldn't be talking about it. They shouldn't be deciding. That's why we don't let those people decide. That's why we don't have vigilante justice where someone just goes out and kills the person that wronged them. That's why we have a system. and there's a rating system and a board system and all that stuff that takes care of films, and there's no way this film is going to be sitting there saying, yep, put your face paint on and go kill a bunch of whoever the enemy in the film is, or whoever perceived enemy, or whoever thinks they're the enemy of the film. I don't know. It's just a big complicated mess, and I'm kind of not surprised that it's gotten this far, but it's just kind of sad that Warner Brothers has had to defend the film before anyone's even seen it. And whether it's because people really legitimately have concerns, or if it's just people wanting to use this politically or personally to get clicks and get attention and sympathy or whatever, I feel bad for the Joker. He hasn't even gotten onto the big screen. He's already being attacked. So I do sympathise with and for the Joker, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go out, fly to America, buy a gun, and kill a bunch of people. I'm not that basic. So if you want to stereotype all white people like that, go ahead. It's nothing to do with reality. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. I talk too much as usual, talk too long, but hell, no one listens anyway. This is for my own enjoyment and therapy. Thanks. See ya. Bye.